To viewers, good morning. Um, I'm Dr. Bello Abba Ahmed, and as usual, we would like to discuss some issues concerning the Nigerian economy. Presently, everybody is feeling the impact of the removal of subsidy, the scarcity of fuel, the lines, and how it affects the entire economic activity. Um, so many businesses have closed. People cannot move. People spend days on queues, and instead of going to work, or on petrol queues instead of going to work, or going to their normal businesses, and this will affect the entire economy. It's like it's been locked or slowed down heavily. Now, we have argued severally that there is nothing wrong with subsidy. You know, this false information that the government transmits, that Nigeria is a poor country, it cannot afford subsidy, subsidy is a scam, there are corrupt practices within the subsidy regime, people have hijacked the subsidy and they're enriching themselves and at the detriment of the general population. Or another argument is that the money that is used for subsidy could be redirected into infrastructure and other development projects. These are all hoax. They are false information. The truth of the matter is that subsidy is a global practice. Like we said severally, subsidy is like a yeast when you are baking or you are making a dough. For it to, swell and give you the right sizes you want, you must add yeast to your dough so that it rises properly, it swells, and give you more quantity that you can use for whatever you want to do. Now, when you remove yeast from your baking, then you're not going to have a smooth dough that you want. So the global practice is that governments subsidize not only their gas or petrol, they also subsidize education, health. So many sectors of the economy are being guided, regulated, and financed by the government so that those countries produce enough commodities to meet local demand, that is one, and two, generate surpluses for export so that the country earns foreign exchange. This is what is happening. We have said it severally that even the US spend over 20 billion annually to subsidize fuel. If you don't know what 20 billion can do, the entire Dangote group and his businesses is worth only, as at 2023, is only worth 10 or 11 billion US dollars. So you can imagine US subsidizing its fuel with twice of Dangote's wealth. You must know that there must be something secret about subsidy. We have also said that Europe, for example, subsidized fuel for over 350 billion US dollars. And in the last year, 2023, over 7 trillion was spent on fuel subsidy globally. And China is topping the list with spending about 2 trillion US dollars to subsidize its fuel. Why? Because it is only the government that can step in to reduce the cost of doing business in the country so that the domestic firms, businesses, will thrive and make a lot of profit and employ more people that will generate more income, more welfare for the people, and higher standard of living. It's a multiplier effect. Our government got it wrong by looking at the absolute value, what it spends on subsidy, instead of looking at it from multifaceted angle, so that let them account or consider the multiplier effect. If you spend like 200 billion or 1 trillion to subsidize fuel, that will generate multiples of that amount in terms of employment, in terms of income, in terms of generating wealth in the country, because the cost of doing business will become affordable. Surviving, existing business will survive, and new ones will emerge when the cost of doing business is affordable or reasonable. But the trouble with our government is that they behave like Nigerians. We too much believe in miracle. You are doing the wrong thing and you keep on praying that it will produce the right thing. You cannot put a square peg in a round hole and expect it to fit. You cannot sow rice, for example, and then expect to reap sorghum, because it's what you sow that you reap. So if you sow bad policy, certainly you are going to reap bad outcomes. And policies do not work like magic or automatic, because there will be actions and reactions from the people whenever the government makes a policy. It's not going to be automatic. There should be intermittent evaluation, maybe quarterly, to, for example, whatever economic policy the government makes, it should be subjected to quarterly evaluation, so that let them track the outcome of that policy. For example, this fuel subsidy has not triggered, but has escalated the already galloping inflation we are facing as a result of closing the borders and other harsh policies of the government. Now, economics have envisaged that the market could fail. That is, the forces of demand and supply could fail in the allocation of resources, such that there could be surplus or there could be shortages. So at that point, the economic prescription is that the government should come in and then stabilize the economy. It could be through reinvestment, it could be through subsidy, it could be through monetary and fiscal policy. It could take whatever means the government will take to inject money or to stabilize the economy through its proactive actions. Now, but economic theory has never envisaged that the government would fail. I've never seen it, and I've never heard anywhere where economic theory assumes that the government will fail in its responsibility, because all economic theories are based on the assumption that you have a responsible government that has the heart of the people in its mind, and its actions, its policies are targeted towards improving the welfare of the citizens. But this IMF, World Bank policies that our government are bent on implementing are not doing good for the system, and it's not working. You can see the chaos that this subsidy removal has created in the country. The government is even confused by trying to bail out the system by giving palliatives, this to workers, palliative this to the citizens, palliative this to that, sending billions of nairas to the state governments to distribute to the people. It's not working. All these sums of money, if you gather them all together, it would have been better for the government to continue with the subsidy regime than, we don't need any salary increment. It's not a stable process. It's not a solution to the situation. The solution to the situation is to put in place government policies that would stabilize the economy over a long period of time. And one of the stabilizers is fuel subsidy. Now that the subsidy is removed, where is the money? Have we seen any rapid increase in the supply of social services, infrastructure development? The only story we're hearing is the quantum of money that is stolen by government officers in billions or trillions of naira. So the issue of Nigeria is not that the country is poor, but two things are undermining the progress of the country. Number one is corruption. Flagrant corruption at the highest level is what is crippling the country. You can see the large sums of monies that people are stashing away at homes in dollars, in pounds, in foreign currencies. That money, the government, the institutions, the government has not yet put in place effective, control measures to avoid stealing of government money. That is one. Number two is we can see even that through the EFCC cases, we are seeing the people that have been indicted with hundreds of billions, sometimes in foreign currency. And then the second thing that is undermining this country is the cost of governance. Large, substantial part of the budget goes to servicing the National Assembly, the governors, the ministers, all those political appointees. The greater part of our budget goes to service them. So if you see anybody that tells you Nigeria is poor, it's just a laughable issue. If Nigeria is poor, why would the president carry heavy entourage, maybe in 100 people, just to go to a foreign country for just a simple visit, while the G7 or G8 or G10 presidents, they only come alone or with 1 or 2 aides, and then they lodge in modest hotels, while our officials go and lodge in the most expensive hotels with the highest number of entourage. The cost of governance. Look at the escort of governors, of presidents, with plenty, too many cars that you cannot even count, But if you look at the superpowers, US, Europe, you see them with just 1 or 2 cars, because they know that the cost of governance is paramount, in stabilizing the economy. Therefore, they will rather use that money for the development of their people rather than the luxury of those in official positions. So I think the government needs to review this issue as a matter of urgency. They need to reinstate the subsidy regime so that these queues will disappear, the cost of governance will come down, and possibly inflation, the inflationary forces in the country will also come down so that people can go back to their normal lives. Otherwise, the level of poverty in Nigeria will be worse in the history of this country, and it will last for a very long time if measures are not taken to stabilize the economy. Thank you.